Okay. Okay, before you can begin, everyone goes to rmc.upm.edu.my. Okay, rmc.upm.edu.my. Okay, this is what I'm supposed to start. I'm supposed to introduce myself just now, right? Okay. Yeah, but then
Yeah, RMC is a party director.
okay, go to this, go to download. Okay, the document for FRGS is 100 something. Okay, FRGS 102, patent search 109. Okay, simplified patent search form 1110. So this is the one that you should be looking for. Okay, if you notice, this is the one that USM copied. Okay, this is the one that they did. Okay, right? Okay, you notice it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I think you got it from there.
Yeah.
I got it from
You got it from US, but yours have USM logo, right? This one, this is the original one. We complained to KPT because they said that you are not, USM is not supposed to do that. So we keep the original. This is the original document. Okay. Prof Shahir is currently the TNC for UTHM. UTHM. Okay. UTHM. Okay. Now, so these are the two documents that you should be getting. So 109 and 110. 110 is actually where you get your version 1 2020 simplified patent search report. This is the one that you should be using. Okay, and then the FRGS guideline is actually here if you're applying, and all the relevant guidelines are here. Okay, look at these two because these two are open now, along with TRGS, which is actually open, which is actually just open last week. We're going to update this one, but we have not received the specific instructions yet. Okay, now, so these are the two documents that you should be referring to. Okay, referring to. Now, let's look at this one by one. Like what I mentioned earlier, okay, like what I mentioned earlier, this summary simplified patent search report is actually a summarized findings of whether your proposal is worth investing or not. Okay, worth investing or not. Is it novel? Is it worth investing, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then after that, this is actually based on the trend, whether it's actually increasing in the past 10 years or decreasing in the past 10 years. The key idea of why they do it this way is actually to show whether it's still a cutting edge or important technology, or whether it's actually an emerging or re-emerging technology. It's just like us in medicine. We have emerging diseases, re-emerging diseases, and so on and so forth, right? Certain disease used to be important and then not important anymore. Certain diseases used to be important, not important, and now important again. Okay, so this is the same trend here. As long as you can justify a technology, do a proper write-up in your summary saying that, okay, even though this technology has been researched 10 years ago, and then eventually falls into disquiet because not many people are making progress in this area, and then now your team is trying to propose it again because you have found a unique selling point in your technology that you believe will contribute more, then you need this, then your patent search will become very, very important. Because if you don't do well, okay, if you don't do well in your patent search using the correct keywords and so on and so forth, you're going to have problems answering for question number 2. Yeah, you are going to have problems answering for question number 2 because the patent, let's say you are doing something that is already been not that popular anymore, already at the tail end of the technology discovery, and yet you know that there are still opportunities for you to push. So you need to be careful how you answer question number 2. So you may need to retune your keyword. Now, keyword is very strange. The sequence of the keyword that we're going to use here, okay, you notice my statement, sequence of keywords. Sequence of keywords. This sequence will be very, very important because it's going to be used in the lens to reproduce the research. Because one thing that the reviewers see at the at the JK penilai level is that if they use the same keyword, they don't get the same result, your application may be disqualified as well. This one they did not tell you because it means that you are manipulated.
Yeah.
So make sure whatever keyword that you use is actually reproducible. The simplest way is you do your search, and then after that ask another colleague which you have not done the search to double check and see whether they can get the same results. This is rule number one. If you cannot get the same result, then you better find ways, because sometimes when you do pattern search, you could be running for the whole morning, whole day. You try different combination, and then sometimes you make some little mistakes, the sequence change and so on and so forth. And then after you're done, then you become so tired already, right? So just simply say, it should be this, and this. But bear in mind, the sequence is also important. Okay, sequence is also important because you should be looking for a keyword that is broad, and then only then you narrow down into whatever area they are going to go for. This is actually where comes question number 3, CPC. The highest CPC classification accurately represents area of technology. Now, in the current iteration, the highest hierarchy is this one. I do not know, next year, maybe they will ask you for class again. But this time around, they only ask you whether it's A to H only, A to Y only. So that means, if let's say you're dealing with something like what I told you just now, maybe medical, maybe you should start with A. If you suddenly doing medical,
Wait, you say start with A. We don't choose to start with A, isn't it? We just do the keyword search and then
yes, correct.
Result.
You structure your keyword in such a way that it will come out as A.
How to do that?
You see this? This is a very bad example, this one. Look at
This
this.
water filter.
Look at this one.
Example is artificial.
Okay, this guy, he wanted to do this. Let's say his intention is to get A, human necessity. But during CPC classification, it came out B.
No A there.
No A. So your answer for this form, sorry, where's the form? Orang kat mana? Mungkin saya kena buka lah. Okay. You see, katakan dia nak A, human needs. Tapi after doing the pattern search, it becomes B. So, what is your answer for this one? No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Oh, no.
No. If it is no, you can be disqualified.
I said you indicate correct keyword search.
So you need to change. Yeah, you need to change your keyword
until you get
it. That's why if you look at this series of slides, this is very candid. Define search again. You notice this? buat lagi sampai dapat.
So the keyword here would be actually up to the researcher.
Yes, you can put in anything. Yeah.
But can the JK penilai would then also check whether you use the right keyword?
Yes, they will check because what they are going to do is they are going to use the same keyword. Okay, they are going to use the same keyword. Dia akan letak keyword yang sama, kemudian dia akan search and tengok boleh dapat tak tulisan yang sama.
So here we can put in here more than one keyword.
You can use 5 or 6. One keyword you cannot do anything.
And the later the answer to the
supposed to be yes. Yes.
Must be yes.
Sorry, so the one that is pro to you should be yes. For example, increase yes. If you put no, you need to have justification. Okay, you see, Okay, dia begini. Number 1 supposed to be yes. Number 3 is supposed to be yes. Number two, if it is no, if it is number two is supposed to be no. Okay. Number three is supposed to be yes. Okay, again, maybe I show this one. Okay, number one is supposed to be yes. You are doing something that is very popular. Number two is supposed to be no, because then only then it tallies with number one. Number three is supposed to be yes, meaning that you are in the right classification. For example, your classification is human needs. Now you see why I'm showing you this hierarchy. This is actually what was posed to me the other day. Highest hierarchy, yang ni lah. Ini paling tinggi. Tapi the way that they wrote it in the slide is very difficult to understand, right? They wrote it this way, I guess. Ni slide ni. Ni. And then the question goes like this. Does the description of highest CPC classification accurately represent the area of technology or innovation that research aims to produce?
So the highest meaning the first box.
The first box, A, B, C, D, E. You see, if yes, okay, if yes, it indicates correct keyword use that reflect understanding on the nature of potential research output, its functionality, purpose, and composition.
Oh, sorry, Prof. I see there's a color kind of sliding scale. How does it mean?
This is a heat map.
The one that's below there. Is there something indicate something?
Heat map. The redder, the ideal one is the red. Not only that you get the right alphabet, the reddest will be here. Red, you see, red is 24. Yellow is 13, 14. So the lesser that you get, this is number of patterns, sorry, number of patterns. Number of patterns. This one is actually the heat map, just like how you read gene sequencing data. Okay. Gene sequencing data, you have that heat map. You know, this gene is always highly expressed, underexpressed. So this is the heat map. This is just a visual cue telling you in terms of rank, where is it highest or lowest. So this one is by relevance, so it goes by. Okay, sorry, again, I should be saying that if, let's say, I simplified things just now. Let's say your intention is to get A. Okay, intention is to get A. So by right, among this heat map, the highest pattern search will be for A. In this case, the highest pattern search is Y.
And C.
C, yes. Then fair enough, no problem. Y and C. So that means these are the two technology that Y and C, imaging and chemistry and metallurgy. Metallurgy, yeah. I mean material study. Something to do with metals for material science. So C and Y. It doesn't matter. Your idea is to make this chart work for you. So if your idea is to get A, you should have probably the highest CPC classification under A, or you adjust the keyword until you get A. Now, keyword is a very strange thing. For example, fish and fishes may yield different results. Okay, so play around either with the plural or singular. Play around. You never know what you're going to get. And then ocean, fish, or fish, ocean will give you a totally different thing. Fish, ocean will get you all the fish from fresh water and salt water. Ocean, fish will get you only the fish from ocean only.
Is there something on this?
You have to try. Logic, right? Because the computer go by logic. This one, they go by logic. Ocean and then only then fish. Otherwise, if you go river, fish, then you don't want to get ocean fish. Then your pattern search will go down. So you try different strategies. That's why I kept on emphasizing the sequence is very, very important. Sequence is very, very important. I like to use the ocean fish, fish, ocean example. And then fishes will be another example. You play with the plural and the singular word and see what happens.
How about like 2 words phrase, 3 word phrase? Does it?
I would prefer to do it this way. If you have 3 word phrase, you search one and then search the second one, search the third one, and then reverse the order. Because if you lock all 3, it becomes, for example, your patient is, let's say, obese, short, and elderly. Do you want all 3 categories together, or you prefer to search one by one? Which one will allow you to cast a wider net?
Oh, no. just one word.
The separate one will allow you to cast a wider net.
Maybe too many then.
It depends, because sometimes if let's say a patent in that particular area is too small, then you need to cast a wider
So
net.
you need to refine the search.
Yes.
Yes.
If let's say that's why the last part of the slide is refine.
Is that Boolean operator?
Boolean is actually yes or no. This one is actually just search filter operator only.
And not and all that. Like ocean and sea.
Yes, you can. Yes, it's actually here.
Can be used.
It's actually here, but I don't really recommend that. You see, you can, but I don't really recommend you to do that. You use something that the reviewer, because you have to remember the reviewer, if they are computer savvy, fine. Sometimes these are also very senior people.
They may not from the discipline.
They may not from the discipline. They may not from the discipline. So they could be very senior people. So you have to think along that line as well. Maybe think ahead of them and make it easier for them to search. So that make it easier for them to look for the result. So that they, if let's say after one search they got the same result as what you got, then I think they'll be happy to support you. But if let's say after multiple searches they still cannot replicate this, even though you showed that you can do, negative perception will start to build against you for that. Right. So you have to understand these aspects of the search as well.
So probably before you proceed, if you can key in a few keywords on the form, let's say you say 4 or 5, then how would the response to be entered on the form based on which keyword? If they generated different results, should we not then tell them the keyword that you want to check?
No, you should only use, let's say you have 5 keywords: ocean, fish, pelagic, so on and so forth. That sequence will give you the response that you get from number 1 to number 8. You cannot change keyword sequence for every question.
So, I mean, if let's say you got the 5 keywords, and there will be 5 search results, and which one to use? I mean, the best one.
No, the 5 keywords, the lens pattern search will actually allow you to combine all 5 keywords.
Oh.
This one is being generated using all 5, even mistaken.
I think they put in water filter.
Water filter only, yes. This one is also filter, yeah, correct. Yeah.
Use water filter.
Yeah, water filter, yes.
And
Yeah, so you can have and or. Yeah, this is a Boolean operator lah. You can. Okay, so pattern query is here, water filter, and then you can sub search. This will be the query language lah. You see. So these are the categories that the CPC categories are here. You see, A, B, C, D, E.
and you can choose.
You
can choose pick, like say just A and C the kind of thing.
You can.
Then be more zoom in.
Technically you can, but the issue now is that you also have to think. Sometimes they exclude this. So the best will be you do not select and then it comes up top. It comes up top on its own, then you know already. So that's why the CFC is very important. This one. Sorry, CPC is very important. That's why you see the correct answer, so-called correct answer is given here. So this one should be yes. Okay, this one should be no.
In case of otherwise, then you abandon your.
Not to say you abandon, you have to make it more interesting. For example, like what I told you just now, that you are rediscovering and re-emerging area.
So better able to justify.
Better to justify. So that means in your overall application, in your executive summary, you better address that one. Maybe leave some very, very memorable keywords there. Even though you know that this is actually the end of technology, the end of that particular technology, but we still know that it will still have these technological benefits.
only at the beginning of
your
imaging,
yes.
So you won't see like the past 10 years already a very sloppy.
For example, antibiotic resistance. We know that most of the antibiotics are already useless at this particular point. So now we have to revisit all the antibiotics that we have used back in the 1950s, 1960s. Because the microbes has not been exposed to those antibiotics. So now if you reintroduce them again, you'll be sensitive, right? That will be one of the arguments that you can use. Okay, number 4. This one.
That's why you say the justification, if its answer is no, and then you say
you need to justify. You need to already put it in your. You need to be prepared for this. So you need to declare in your executive summary of your grant already.
Okay.
Do not. You can put it in your main methods, but I would prefer for you to put it in the summary because this is actually where I was a reviewer myself, so I know. Typically, you're given what 300, 400. So the first thing that you do, you read your title. That's why sometimes you get comments saying that not fundamental enough. But the problem is what is fundamental.
Later we can discuss.
No, there's a never-ending discussion.
Another discussion.
Never-ending discussion because fundamental. If you go to the business side, the science sastra, the SSI, most of their studies to us is actually applied. To them, it's fundamental. On our medical side, no.
Then we shouldn't be the reviewer.
So it depends.
Other people should
It depends on the group leader. I mean, on the cluster leader. That's why the other day you notice that RMC we invite the cluster leader, right? Last year we had I think about 7 or 8 sessions. Nobody attended.
For the reviewer, is it?
Yeah, for project review. Video tu. Yes. Kita buat bulan 10, bulan 11 kan? Bulan 10, bulan 11 rasanya 8 sesi. 8 ke 10 sesi. Itu cluster. I did.
Yang video yang kita post kat dalam.
Oh yeah. Then we got the review.
We did that over 10 clusters because we decided to do earlier before anybody else got those ketua cluster. Then we found out some of the ketua cluster dah jadi PNC. So the ketua cluster think okay, never mind for it. But at least we got them. These are the ketua cluster and they give orders, whatever, instructions to the group members on how to evaluate. So,
in case there's anything that's not positive on this search, better elaborate
in your executive summary.
Kind of proactively
telling you already tell them, okay, we know that this is already at the end of technology, but our key selling point for this technology is this. And why we are still pursuing. Then you answer this one. Because this form doesn't have that.
Yeah, it's not there.
This form is just yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And then it already indicated to you what is the correct answer already. See here? This one, they wanted you to answer yes. This one is, and they also wanted you to answer yes. This one, they also wanted you to answer yes to some extent, but you need to know that you are more competitive than the competitor. So that means you need to have key points. So for 5, if you answer yes, you need to show that you are more competitive than the competitor. And then number 6, similar patterns filed in Malaysia. Okay, you see? If you say the similar patterns filed in Malaysia, if yes, does your patent output differ from patents already filed? You see, if you answer yes, you need to show the difference. That means a novelty. Okay, that means a novelty. So you also put your novelty statement in your executive summary. 7, does the patent search use similar patterns filed in how 6 and 7 is actually related. 6 and 7 is actually related. They only wanted you to check for Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore. That's all. And then number 8, does the inventor the highest number of patents filed or awarded possesses more patents to his or her name? Okay, this one is to check on the viability of the support system for the patent itself. So that means it's actually not a one-trick pony kind of situation. One-trick pony. One-trick pony meaning that you only had one ability or one song, one lucky invention, and that's it. Because it means that you have a lot of iteration or the invention that can keep on going on and on and on and on. So this is first version, second version, third version, fourth version, fifth version. So that means you can keep on getting, there are a lot of areas of innovation that you can explore. You know, a lot of areas of innovation that you can explore.
How do you know the answer to question number 8, whether the inventor
later when we search, you can see. In fact, another good thing about Lens is that it will facilitate you to look for collaborators. Because you will notice, you also notice again, certain, if you look at this particular slide, they will show you several things. There are a lot of things in Lens actually. It will show you article. It will also show you organization, where they are from. Let's say you're looking for a specific collaborator. Now, under our context now, you are only instructed to search three or four countries: Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, maybe even Philippines to some extent. But you can expand it further. Maybe you even want to search UK, US. Then you can look for a collaborator who are interested in similar technology. You see here? These are the people with the technology. And then, oh, okay, maybe I wanted to work with this, maybe academic institution, Indian Institute of Technology. Okay, then you click, and then you see who holds the patent, and then go to the website and check whether this guy is still there or not. Collaborate with them. This is actually how you, this is actually how you position yourself as a collaborator or competitor. And then a note about the competitor itself is, once you have this type of information, go to the website and so on and so forth and see what is their strength, and then what is your strength, and what type of strength you're addressing the weaknesses. So you can use this information to your advantage. You see, some of these people, they will actually show that they have certain kind of ability, okay, certain kind of unique selling point. So it's actually up to you to see how we want to capitalize this and how to rewrite our position of proposal. So you are partly, you are right in saying that, Dr. Chiu is right in saying that you need to do some kind of search and so on and so forth to reposition research, because we are always very passionate about what we do, because we tend to think that what we do is actually the most important in the world. But the world may not be ready to listen to you. Okay?
It's just a blind spot.
It's such a blind spot. You are ready to tell the world, but the world may not be ready to listen to you. So it becomes important for us to search this particular blind spot and so on and so forth and see where you are. Yeah. So this is, I already given an overview of the form and the slide. So this particular slide, I think you can go search on your own, because you can actually search for, these are the areas that you can use to answer specific questions. Okay, back to this number 3, CPC. This is a heat map. Red showing the highest number of invention, the white showing least number of invention. So by right, if let's say you are aiming for A, using your keyword, you should be able to get A with the highest number of invention. If you can't, try again.
Numbers of patents is equal to invention.
Yeah, in this case, invention. Or because it depends on what you search here. Because I think this one they search for document type, inventors, and all kinds of things. It depends on what you search here. Okay, it depends on what you search here.
Is it safe to say that it follows what is presented on this PDF or slide? It will be sufficient for most of the research?
Yes, it will be sufficient, because the knowledge for the knowledge that is actually incorporated in this slide is rather not explicit, but it's implicit, because you have to go through this training only then to understand what they are actually talking about.
Yeah.
Because this one is actually rather, if you look at the slide on its own, it's cryptic. It's cryptic, very, very cryptic. Very, very cryptic, because they show you a heat map, that's it. For those of us who don't really understand what is a heat map, okay. Heat map is just a visualization, allowing you to see which cell is actually the highest. Maybe I can show Everybody is familiar with Excel, right?
I think the heat map is like kind of arranged in the alphabetical order rather than
No.
any sequence. Because like B and then C and then
Yeah, B, because this one is looking for B is, it depends on what you search.
the color is actually not here.
This one is that doesn't hit the correct space already. That's why I said by right, red should be here.
It's by sequence, right?
Not necessarily. It could be alphabetical order and so on and so forth, but it depends on how you see. Display as heat map. There are multiple ways of displaying this, but for me it's very, very simple. If let's say you're going for A, you should make sure A has the highest number of items that you mentioned. That's all. Okay. So this is actually exactly what question number 3 asks. Okay, let's. Tak ada. Saya nak tunjuk apa tu heat map dia. Ada fungsi heat map ni, tak apa. This is what I hate about 360 tu kan.
Ya, tu dah.
Saya dah pakai WPS kan.
Oh, ya ke? Kat sini memang pakai yang ni dah pun.
Saya pakai WPS. Saya tak suka pakai ni. WPS free, the one that you can use on the tablet and the phone and everything.
The one you purchase one.
Free. WPS office. It runs on minimal resource. It doesn't go and intrude you or something.
Limited function, right?
It's good enough for Excel, PowerPoint, everything. You can open everything. WPS office. If you have Android tablet and so on and so forth, it's fine. WPS. Okay. This is a heat map, let's say 1, 12, 34, 1005, 6, 3, 4, 5. Just conditional formatting. See? This one is actually easier for you to see mana tinggi, mana rendah. This is heat map. This is heat map. Dia pakai ni conditional formatting. Highlight cell row greater than, less than, ini boleh. Manage rows. So yang ini dia kata search for graded color scheme. Ini format dia. So edit row. So highest value is 50th percentile. 50th percentile ni, 50th percentile kuning, highest percentile hijau, lowest percentile merah. Ini automatic. Easier for you to see numbers. Inilah heat map.
Yeah.
So the same thing as this thing. So now you see red is 24, 13 among the lowest. 13, 15, 19.
So we have to check the Wikipedia to understand the coding.
Okay, the code, the Wikipedia one doesn't work, so you have to go to the European Patent Office. This is the CPC. Okay, CPC. Okay, you can go to the Wikipedia, go to the official website, and then you click tables. It's actually CPC schemes and definition, and then you click tables. Okay, you click tables. Okay, tables A until Y. Okay, let's see what is this guy telling you. Y02W10. 02W10. Okay, now how to read this? This is how it's being read. Section, class, subclass, group, main group. So one letter, 2 digits, one letter again, 1 to 3 digits. So we look at this one, it shows you Y02W. So we go to this Y02W, this one. This is Y0202W. Okay, they're talking about climate change mitigation related to wastewater treatment and waste management. So far, KPT has not asked us to do this yet. In the future, they might. because I'm in that committee now.
Oh,
They ask you to do this. They won't ask you to do this. They are just, so far they only ask you to check why. That's all. Highest sahaja. The second one pun dia tak minta check lagi. You see the highest, number 3, highest. Highest kan? The highest classification is this.
Curie represent you.
Sorry. Ini dah tak suka yang atas tu. How to hide this tu? Highest is going by section. So that means only the letter A to Y. That's all. Letter A to Y. So class is 2 digits. Just now I showed you already. Is 2 digits, 02. Technologies or application or mitigation adaptation against climate change. Okay. And then, okay, 10, 15. 10, 15 is none here. So that means it could be another classification.
Between 10 and 20?
10 and 20,
no such
could be there. I do not know, could be. That one is very, very, only people in that area of technology will know what is it. Yes, this one is, okay, you see, this one is 10, 15. So 10, the last code is 15. So only 15 could be a new classification, but this one is actually just to facilitate the, so it should be somewhere around here.
So the highest, the question number 3 say highest.
It's just A to Y only lah.
So it's the numbers of the
No.
patents.
A to Y. Yeah, number of patents, yes.
We look for the highest number, whether it
With the correct classification.
class correct to your.
Yes. For example, you are looking for human needs A, so that means the highest patent should be A. So the reddest one should be A.
If it is yes, then it's easy, straightforward
Yes, lah.
for your proposal. If it's not, then better justify in the summary.
Justify summary, or maybe you rewrite again. Rewrite, maybe rewrite, or maybe rearrange your do your proper search again within that particular. Because sometimes things like, maybe you know that Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, to some extent we are quite lucky because these countries, maybe Singapore, Malaysia, they use a lot of British English. Indonesia maybe in between. Thailand may have used American English. So you also have to play with that term of American English and British English. So instead of elevator or lift, maybe you go for elevator, maybe lift, so on and so forth. So that kind of funny kind of search.
Say you refine your search until you get the
Until you get what you
highest
want,
CPC cluster is what you want.
Yeah.
Then if you can get that, then probably everything is fine.
Yeah.
If it's not, you cannot force, right? You cannot force your keywords until you get what you want, right? You can.
Do all kinds of things.
To some extent, I mean, you can try, but I mean, if you do that, and then the reviewer could actually say, what kind of funny keyword for your.
Yeah, of course, for example, water, you cannot just put in WATE. It doesn't work. But you may need to do it until that point to get something. Yeah. Because sometimes some of those, because you cannot forget, some of these are also related to things that has been trademarked. Something that has been trademarked. So instead of just waters, instead of water, it becomes waters or waters or whatever. Sometimes it actually could be a specialized technology with a specialized name. So we have to put that in mind as well.
Okay, probably Prof would do some demo, but before that, is there any questions from those on the Zoom? I do have a few more questions, but I would like to open to the those on the Zoom. Do you have any questions you want to ask? Probably in particular to the form, if you have to fill out this one.
Or maybe you're overwhelmed by information. Is it too much information?
Maybe I ask something very basic one.
Okay.
Before I got something about stakeholders. Okay. Prof, you see, clinical research, we rarely talk about patents. We don't really like produce a healthy bottle, that kind of thing. Most of the time, like except in certain disciplines, probably we have, right? Because probably some special new device, but very
I know we're in the
Very-
same situation as those doing languages and those doing social sciences. For example, child abuse. Irrespective of child abuse.
what can be produced?
That means you select any of the key, if that's the case, then you select any of the keywords that you intend to use in your research, put it into the patent search machine search engine and see what you get. That's all.
And
Making sure that it doesn't go against the proposal. That's all.
there's no.
You try not to put no. You look at the,
With other one.
you try to make it as positive as possible.
No, like I'm thinking about my psychology or psychiatrist, colleague, or psychoeducation, or like behavior.
But they could be very
program.
specific questionnaire or instruments and certain things that is very unique to their area of research. Try to put that one in. Because if you're talking about psychologists, they could be certain instruments, survey instruments, or certain things that could be relevant to them, certain theory that is relevant to them.
But they may not produce a new instrument. They are using it. They are studying some, phenomenon, effective.
I understand that because the same question was posed to the committee, especially for those from languages.
Yeah.
Even worse, if let's say they are studying old and dying languages,
Uh,
even worse.
yeah.
Where can you get patent for those? No, you can actually look at what are the derivatives technology from those languages. They could be synthesizing technology related to the languages. They could be remixing or certain other technology related to that. We do not know what is the application like, but whatever it is, you use when you have a proposed research. You just use whatever keyword that you have, put it into the lens, and see what you get, and then refine according to the lens without going astray from a research proposal.
So whether you like it or not, you have to fill out the formula.
Because for social sciences, I think they have another category. Social sciences, there are certain sections. I think for social sciences, there are certain sections that they're exempted from filling, effective from 2021. Go to KPT, yeah.
Now the FRGS, I remember you were talking about this, about FRGS fundamental. Dah sudah fundamental, dah lagi psychology, psychoeducation program, behavioral things. Mana lagi ada people? Dah nak fundamental tu kan. I remember you were saying just do something like.
Yes, just put it as positive as possible. Now, this is the first edition of the form. There's actually a second edition or third edition that you need to go together. That's why just now you're looking at 1/20/20/2020. There's actually a 1/20/21.
Oh.
Okay. Research. Where is my grants? Otherwise, I have to go to this one. Who is the main migrant? I don't want to log in. One of my grants on this. This one. This one's open already. Okay, I'll show you the new form is here. Sorry, pattern. Pencarian pattern. This is a new guideline, slightly different. I want to show you the form because with that, the social sciences, they have already got their own form, but the clinical SSK, science clinical dan kesihatan, we still do not have we still do not have our own classification, so we still have to fill the same form. I want to show you that form. Form 2021. I forgot what is the keyword that I need to use. Because it's supposed to be a form. Yeah, you have to log into my grants itself to get to see it. Sorry, I have to look for it. The form has 3 colors, 2 or 3 colors.
Is it this one?
Yeah, this one. Yes. Dekat mana? Cari kat mana?
Ini kami cari ni RIMC-UPM.
RMC-UPM.
Simplified pattern search report.
Momentan. Ini ya? Ni.
Tapi ni yang UIA tadi UIA punya. Tapi ini UIA punya.
UIA ya.
Google je Final 2021 simplified.
Okay.
I think yang UPM tak ada lagi tu.
Dia guna borang tu sekarang.
Simplified pattern search report.
Okay, kalau macam tu, simplified pattern search report 2021 UITM. Dia masih guna yang ni. Ni ya? IIUM.
Betul tak IIUM.
Okay.
Betul.
Bukan.
Kan? 2021 Dia ada tulis 2021 kat belakang.
I shared a file in the chat. Perhaps you can try opening that one, see whether it's the correct one.
Ya. Boleh ya? Okay.
Ayat download eh?
Kat mana? Dah. Oh, is it good to open? Ni. Oh. Okay. This one, yes. This is what I meant. This is a 2021 version because this happens after the complaint from the social sciences group. But I did not show this form because this is not really relevant to us, for us in this session, because we don't need, for social sciences, they only need to answer 3 and 4. Okay, 3 and 4 SSI. For us, we still need to answer 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have this now. But I can tell you the CPC is coming back. Okay, the CPC is coming back. This one is coming back. But if you understand the CPC, they'll be fine. No problem. Okay, so this is a form that has been used last year. Okay, form that has been used last year. So this is a compulsory section, increasing trend, upward trend, downward trend, social sciences group. Okay, under the SSI, okay, the PAB. So it depends on how you want to gear your research proposal, because for certain parts of, let's say, biomedical health, maybe even other sections of allied health, it depends on how much you want to wait into health. You can even put it under the WAB. The WAB is actually anything under the sky. Anything under the sun, sorry.
Natural.
Yes. For us, for me, it includes agriculture. Agriculture is under WAB.
Is there a place where you kind of classify this proposal as WAB?
Yes, and that's why when we organized the talk the other day, we go by SSI, SSK, WAB. The talk that we organized that day is posted according to this area.
You mean the form itself, so you can...
Yes, you have to check. You have to click. Yes, in the official form, you have to click that. So you, as you can see here, the CPC doesn't appear anymore. But I still encourage you to understand what is a CPC here, because it's very important for you to know, because it shows you, even though it's actually not listed here, but when the evaluators search, because it's part of results incorporated into LANS anyway, because your idea is to try to minimize the avenue upon which the evaluator is going to fault you. Dr. Chai, you have anything to ask?
Yeah, I actually wanted to highlight that some of the things that we produce in social science research is not patentable. Sorry, my voice is a bit hoarse.
Okay.
For example, an instrument or a questionnaire, they cannot be patented, but they can be copyrighted. So if we do a patent search, it will not come up, you see.
Yes, correct.
Things like software validated questionnaires, they're not patentable. So this is one of the challenges that we face if, let's say, we are doing a study in social sciences area. So I'm not sure how to overcome that for this.
This is actually why from 2021 onwards, they use this form. So,
but even potential to be used also is kind of dodgy. We're not sure what is it that they want to be reported inside the patent report.
For me, it's very simple. If you look at the instruction for social sciences research, SSI, SSK, SS, SSI, and WAB, they only wanted you to answer 1, 2, which are compulsory, and then 3, 4. That's all. And then the 5, 6, 7, 8 is actually for those who are doing, SKK, STG, ICT, PK. Okay, all this.
We are in the SKK.
That's right. The SKK group. SKK group is here. So this is actually the form that you should be looking at. Now, this is only part of the story. Okay, this is only part of the story. So even though you mentioned that for social sciences, that it's not patentable, it's copyrightable, and so on and so forth. And as a response, they give you a leeway. You just need to answer 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, even though this is so, I would prefer if, let's say, when you give that particular keyword, or when you write this, or you fill out this particular form for your patent search, the overall result is still favorable to you. Let's say in terms of CPC, in terms of all other outputs that's going to be shown later, so that you minimize the possibilities of the evaluator to fault you. That's all. Yeah, Roshan, anything to add?
The other thing is that when you search in Lens, it doesn't just only show patents, right? Sometimes it shows publications, other related publications to your keywords as well. Is that included in this patent search process, or we omit that one? We just look at the patents.
By right, you should omit and look at the patents, because this is supposed to be patent search. Okay, if you look at this carefully, you can even determine what are the materials that you want to search. Okay, by default, you will be led to the scholarly work section. These are all papers. Okay, papers showing to you these papers are being cited in patent, or they themselves cite patent, and so on and so forth. So these are the total works. That means how much of works in that particular area. And then after that, what are the patents citing them? So these are all documents. So it may even include advertisement and all kinds of things. So that means anything that is available or searchable. Now, on top of that, when you are doing a search, since this is actually a patent search, we are trying to focus as far as possible on patents. Okay, so as far as possible on patents. And then there's actually a type of the year that you need to narrow down to, because they're only looking at 10 years. Okay, 10 years. Just narrow down to 10 years. Okay, just narrow down to 10 years. So we should be looking at the patents only. This one is scholarly work. If you notice the next section, okay, the next section is actually on the patent. This one is only going for patent already. Look at this. It could be either granted patent, limited patent, such all kinds of things. First, you choose the jurisdiction area. Then after that, you determine what you want to look at. Here, they only focus on patent results in this particular slide. Okay, patent results. Okay, now maybe to make things easier, let's go to Lens straight away. Okay, before that, anything else that I think Dr. Tan, right? Not Dr. Chai, right? Dr. Tan, right? Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, thanks. It's okay.
Lens. Why? Okay. You see, I was trying. Huh? Okay. Macam ni tak nampak nanti sebab kalau background. Okay. Now let's say we want to we repeat, maybe we just repeat lah whatever they do. Filter. Okay. Dates. That means published 2012 to this year. Flag. Just put everything in. Jurisdiction. Okay, initially when we search everything.
Broadly.
Broadly. Here, we jump straight into patent records. Okay? We did not do like what is being shown in this particular document, whereby they click on the right and then they search. Actually, you can just start this way, no problem. But if let's say you review this document, they ask you to click here and then search here, and then only then you get scholarly results. Now, one good thing about scholarly results with Lens is that you can actually look for your potential collaborator. Again, you can also go back and do a search again. Okay, you can just click here again. Water filter. Let's say 2012. We don't want it to be too long. These are all scholarly works. work cited by patent. So this one is by scholarly works. Now, on the scholarly work, you will see that this is actually publications, publications, not patents. This is publications. What is their trend like over time? So here we are searching from a period of 1950 because 2012, sorry. Just now I put 2012, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 2012. 2012, and you can see that there's actually an increasing trend, okay, increasing trend, but towards here, there's actually a decreasing trend. Now, since this is scholarly work, you will be able to see the top publications from this institution. For example, from here, it seems that the Spanish, okay, the Spanish National Institute, National Research Council has a lot, okay, and then Max Planck in Germany. And then this one is in Edinburgh. Okay, let's try Edinburgh. This will be a sub-search that will actually allow you to look into the contribution by this particular university on what are the materials available here. Okay, what journal article, what are they doing, and so on and so forth. Okay, so with this, then you are able to search further into who are the one doing research. Can you see this now? This is in Edinburgh. So let's say we go for this guy, Francisco Intepi. (2015), 2014, 2014. Now you have to bear in mind, LANS is actually funded in part by Microsoft. Okay, funded in part by Microsoft, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So, and then since it's actually provided for free, the database on the publication is actually maybe about 3 years behind, 2 or 3 years behind. They have to protect the rice bowl of the other publishers. Database on publication, journals. That's why you see 2015, 2016. So you may use this information, go into Scopus or go into JCR and search who is this person, Francisca Tapi. You may want to search. Okay, you may want to search. Okay, Global Health Infection Immunity Co-Director, Global Health Institute. Now it's still in Edinburgh. Okay, still in Edinburgh. Maybe you want to search the LinkedIn.
Find the latest.
To find the latest affiliation, information, whatever. You even want to use this as a collaborator. So that's why LANS is very powerful. You know how to use it. You can search out your collaborator, see what they are doing, and then they will have statement of their. You see, she has won for the Chancellor's Award for Impact. Now let's see what's the impact all about. Okay, what's the impact all about? Background. Okay, what's the impact all about? What's the research all about? Okay, you see, these are the kind of information that you can search because they could be. You see, what she is doing is she has relevant to host parasite biology, parasite immunology, helminth, all kinds of things, and yet she holds patents in this area. Water filter and all kinds of things. Yes.
What seems to be legible.
Yeah, but they are doing that. They are doing that. Okay, they are doing that. So it will be very interesting. I'm just searching one of the author here because it came out. This author kept on coming up. Prominent author profile kept on coming up. So this is actually how you identify people from LANS. You can either search scholarly work to identify who you'll be working with, or who are your competitors, and see what is the uniqueness of the technology that you can capitalize for or use against them, and then maybe just to show that you have something that's more novel. Okay. You see, there are a lot of articles here. Helminth is Zimbabwe, so I suppose that she came from Zimbabwe, right? Maybe schistosomiasis, yeah. Schistosomiasis. Yeah, she does work on immunology as well.
She collaborated with people from there.
Yeah, we do not know. Okay, so this is scholarly work search. Okay, now let's not get distracted, let's go back and do our actual pattern search. The filter. We just put these two. Water filter, earth, sand. Let's put something like this. Okay. See what we get.
What's the priority means then? The priority there? Yeah.
Priority is actually a measure of impact. Maybe in terms of market share, in terms of relevance to your research, maybe you want to prioritize according to this sequence. But for me, I don't prioritize anything first because I want to see what's going on. Okay. So here, since you are searching for Malaysia, because you already have this, you can skip all the steps. You don't have to follow that slide. Oh, no wonder this thing is here. Okay, never mind. We just search first. Okay, even if you put water, filter, earth, and sand, they are 57,000. Halliburton is an oil company. He's an oil company. Process of making a well. Okay. Okay, Halliburton. So now you see Halliburton, Fujifilm, and everybody else. And BASF, I believe them. Hey, this is interesting. Because you see, they put water filter, something else came out, right? Samsung, whatever came out. But you put water filter, sand, earth and sand.
Become more real water filter that we think about.
Yeah. Or maybe you can try, okay, we try another. This one just now I told you the sequence is important, right? Water, filter. Just now was earth and sand, right?
Yeah.
Sand and earth. Computer. No, it's 57,000. Okay, still okay. So that means there's no difference because earth and sand, maybe earth and sand, right? No, sand and earth. It's ocean, fish, or fish, ocean, line. Because we tried that before. We tried all kinds of combination because we were shown that during our training. Okay, so let's say we look at this Halliburton, DuPont. I know because DuPont they have a lot of this. Okay, let's click this applicant. Okay, this is Halliburton. Now you start to see individual name. Dextra, Jason, is somebody from the Netherlands. Dextra is somebody this common name in the Netherlands. Okay. Okay. What will be the legal status of the patent? Where are the jurisdiction that has the highest patent? Who are the inventors? Nguyen, Philip D, 104. This 195, and so on and so forth. So this is actually how you track down each of these. So of course, this is actually when you want to track down the collaborator. So today, what we're going to do is we have to answer our search and see whether within the jurisdiction of just now because I fix according to Halliburton. We don't fix to Halliburton now. We go for everybody, and then we go by jurisdiction of only. Oh, Malaysia is not in there, not even in there. Okay, under situation like this, it means you cannot even search the neighboring country anymore. So that means you have to go back and refine again, because according to the FRGS, you should search Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia, right? So since you use water, filter, sand, earth, and you only get these countries, okay, you only get these countries, you cannot proceed anymore. So that means you need to change your wording. Okay, so you have to go back again.
Oh, if it is not patented in Malaysia, baguslah kan Prof. Maksudnya,
Belum ada lagi.
Dia kosong. Tapi nanti you cannot answer question number 1, number 2. Apa trend dia? Kan?
But 1 and 2 is for all,
All.
for all, right?
All. 1 and 2 is all.
So it's okay, we
Oh,
can
is it
answer what? This
number
one,
6?
it's not the broad B one, the broad search. You can see it's increasing. But we couldn't answer this one because there's none.
Yeah, there's no jurisdiction. Okay.
So it's undefined there. After you put 2012, there's a dash and undefined. What does it mean?
Because it means until current lah. Never mind. This is 2 point. So you see, if you put water filter only, this is one about 3 million. Okay, 3 million, then let's see our jurisdiction. See whether we have Malaysia there or not.
Ada kat
Okay, Singapore. Tak lagi Malaysia. Indonesia ada tak?
Does not go by alphabet. It goes by the
It goes by the number. Singapore ada kat atas. Thailand kat bawah ni, I remember. Water filter memang kat sini, tak banyak. Kita dengan Singapura banyak, dan Singapura banyak ni daripada Malaysia. Yeah, our people went over there actually.
yeah.
It's actually not Singaporean. It's actually Malaysian. We do not know how to treasure our people, so our people go up. Okay, let's say only Singapore, Malaysia. Cukup lah. Okay.
So at least one, okay. Maksudnya kalau Thailand tak ada, Indonesia tak ada, dan
You kata tak ada lah. Kan? Kata tak ada, that means it's actually to our advantage. That means cuma 2 negara ni ada teknologi ni kat ASEAN. Because they only ask for 4. Because initially when they tried the world, everybody got results. That's why they start. Now you see kenapa they narrow down to 2 countries. Okay, you just put in Malaysia, Singapore. So you put in Singapore. Okay, refine. So tinggal 345 je. Okay, 345. So you see, it's still the same thing. Sharp, Putra, and few others. NEP Malaysia Holdings. Ini yang one rather famous company at one point. Ada 11. Ni water rasanya. Okay, so you can click this one. And then you can search siapa. Aktif, berapa aktif, berapa pending. So they have active 8. Ini siapa yang invent? And you will see also this guy in Singapore. So this one is with the element. Orang sama, background orang sama. NEP ni. Syarikat ni memang masih operate, still operate. Okay, still operating around here. Okay, so this is actually, so you just look within Malaysia, Singapore, and then you look at the trend. What is the trend like? Ini macam declining, kan? Ini macam declining.
This is
Then
publication. It's
This
patent
is-
or publication?
this is patent.
Patent,
You see? Patents.
patent publication.
Publication of patents lah, in this case. Okay, so declining. Okay, declining. Okay, this is actually declining. And then you may want to add facets to the research. Apa tu? Facets of research. So now let's look at what this particular slide. Keep on clicking the. Ini selalu jam ke atas. Okay, so once you have this, okay, once you have this, you can technically you can actually click multiple sections here, select your countries and so on and so forth, and then look at the CPC, because at one end you still need to look at the CPC. These are all the document types. These are jurisdiction referring to only Malaysia and Singapore. Okay, so filters ni, so you can do a lot more things. You can even search by the applicants. You can even search by the attorney. I do not know why you can actually go for that, but analytics should sort by relevance. You can sort by this. Analytics. Okay, this one is just allowing you to do this. Analysis will be this. Okay, this will be the trend. How does it work? And all those kind of things. This is the same as what you saw just now, but this one show you the entire panel of what is actually going on now. This is the CPC. So CPC, the highest is actually at the area of C02 F02 F1. I'm having issues with it. Huh? Yalah, ni. Okay, so kat sini. Okay, so this is actually sludge separation, which is what we do lah kan. Okay, sludge separation. So it's actually here. So
What if kalau macam kita from medical side kita search, memang tak dapat A. For the last searching memang tak dapat A. What is the best?
Okay, I can answer you. We find the search. Guess to what you want.
The closest to what you want.
Within reasonable keywords choices. If you still couldn't get it, I think I don't know. Prof, I think
You have to change your ID, change
your proposal.
yeah.
So that's very
So
credible.
if the applicant is from the medical side, must dapat A juga. Must. It's a must. Or mesti match dengan dia punya niche area.
Dia bukan apa, you see, ini ada B, ada C, ada B, ada C dan sebagainya. So C ni, you see, C ni dia lebih kepada water chemistry, metallurgy and everything else. So that means it also prompts you to rethink, because if you do all kinds of searches, you think it's medical, but it ends up in another area. That means you may not be hitting the right area. So that means you may need to reposition research, repackage research into that particular area. And who knows, maybe the area is actually easier to get funds. So this one is actually a two-way process. A feedback for you to say, oh, you actually found this could be an easier way for you. Sebab yang ni patutnya mungkin boleh present itself as actually chemistry, metallurgy, whatever, rather than medical side. Because not only because you're working in an area of medical, then everything should be medical. No, not necessarily. Certain things come from other areas. For example, our cardiology. I always like to cite cardiology. Cardiology, even though it relates to medicine, but the principles of hemodynamics and everything else was developed by Yong, right? The very famous medical physiologist, who is actually a mechanical engineer, and he is well proficient with fluid dynamics. He started as an engineer before becoming a medical doctor. He used the same principle to describe the hemodynamics and everything else. Eventually, form a critical part of cardiology. You do the echocardiography, measure strain, measure all kinds of things, right? It's actually physical or mechanical engineering principle.
Tapi in FRGS application, adakah ia akan menyebabkan applicant tu disqualified because it's not same area niche?
Yes, try to because if let's say you present your study as actually in the fundamental area, katakan engineer sebagainya, so you should present your proposal more or less similar in line to that. Ataupun at the very least, with some applications or indicative application in that particular targeted area of science. Itu je. Sebab kadang-kadang bila kita buat pattern search macam ni, dia memberikan macam pandangan baru lah, pendekatan baru tentang apa yang, bagaimana kita nak reposition our current work. Okay. So this is actually what the CPC is all about. So I may not be following the entire slide, but it actually just tells you the same thing, because these are the kind of thing that the evaluator can see. Penilai akan nampak benda ni. Walaupun dia tak tanya dalam ni, but the moment they see this, because penilai gone through similar training, dia akan cari benda ni. Because all this information are already available to you. So the penilai needs a little bit more information than you to qualify or disqualify you. So they'll be looking for this. So the best thing is making sure that when you search, try as far as possible. I think in this case, because most of it is actually C, kan? Okay lah, kalau you nak aim for C and then ada nampak sini C, then should be fine.
By now, actually, saya tahu sebenarnya, actually saya menulis the right proposal.
Yes.
The keyword ke?
Yes.
Betul atau tak?
Yes, and then another challenge is patent search ni is developed outside our country, not from Malaysia. And then our classification is based on classification under FRGS, KPP. So kita buat ikut kepala kita, dia buat ikut kepala dia. How do you match A, which is medical need, with the keperluan FRGS dan sebagainya? Kan? But however, this one will be very important if you're talking about, let's say that particular question. C, ICPC. They only ask for the highest. In fact, they also realize this is a problem, because we did highlight to the committee saying that this classification was done by the Foreign Patent Office for application. We are doing fundamental work, and we classify our work as engineering, medical sciences, and everything as social sciences and everything else under the sun, the BAB. So how do you fit this? That's why in the new iteration, 2021 form, they dropped this. They dropped this. But whatever it is, we still try to make sure that whatever we attain, still katakan you nak C kan, lebih kurang lah. Kebanyakan tinggi kat C lah, jangan rendah sangat. Itu je. Yeah, I think, yeah.
Almost 11. You want to stay on?
I have to go because I have to listen to a pitching.
Probably one or two last questions. Anyone on here and virtual one?
Sorry, can I ask another question? Do we need to examine the result of the search to make sure that it is really relevant or specific to the topic that we're doing? Because, like, for example, if I Google things like information support, right, it might come out all sorts of stuff talking about IT technology and all that thing, but it might not be really relevant to the topic that I'm actually doing on. So is that necessary in this IP search process?
Okay. The issue now is that for SSK, Kesihatan, you have to fill up questions number 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Questions number 5, 6, 7, 8. So instead of just general information like information support and so on and so forth, why don't you try more specific words, like specific words in your field, and see what you get? Because if you put information support, you could get anything from logistics, military, to maybe other applications, which, like what you said, is not relevant to you at all. So why don't you just put in maybe certain specific keywords of your research? For me, I always do it this way. For example, I really like to do research on, let's say, on fatty acids. My original work is on fatty acids anyway. So I just put specific names of that specific fatty acid and see what do I get, and how much improvement I can get from there. If fatty acid doesn't work, okay, I try the next big word, which is maybe saturated, unsaturated fatty acid. Then if it's still too limited, maybe I just go for lipids. Okay, maybe if lipids is still too restrictive, then maybe I go for maybe a lipids complex with protein, maybe lipoprotein and so on and so forth. See what happens and see what I get. So you have to work forward, be ready to work forward, work backward in order to refine your search. So I would prefer to search narrow first and then go backwards until you get what you want.
Okay, noted. It's just that information support is a term for under the nursing side also. So that's why that, but it come out all a different topic instead of.
Yeah, of course, yes. Because the thing now is that the area is very big. Like what I said just now, you could be dealing with multiple disciplines at one point. And then furthermore, this solicitation is not built for our FRGS, BRGS. Okay, yeah, we are MOU collaborator. How do we go about it? Okay, collaborator. Okay, you go to RMC website. Okay, the same page where you download the document, go to research agreement. Okay, MOA. MOU, you have to go to another office, which is the PSPK office. MOA is at the RMC, but even then, RMC is only a postman, huh? So the procedures are here. One thing's for sure, you need to look at the purpose of your MOU, MOA, or whatever, because sometimes, even though they said that it's MOU, it's actually MOA, or sometimes the MOA is actually MOU. And in UPM, different functions or different intent of the MOA, MOU is being placed in charge, being spearheaded by different units. For example, if let's say it involves anything to do with purchasing, it will be by the Mendari. Anything to do with subscription, it will be by the library. Anything to do with building, everything else, it will be by the PPPA. Okay, PPPA. Anything to do with contractual employment, biasiswa, it will be by the TNCAA. Okay, so these are the kind of things that you have to look at the purpose. Okay, the purpose. Okay. So if let's say if it is MOU, then it will be PSPK. Corporate strategy and relations. There is actually a procedure here as well. PSPK. I think you can search under Perkhidmatan. You can call them and say you want to do MOU. There will be an officer in charge here under PSPK. MOU,
Yes.
MOU, services. Yeah, you see, MOU, MOA management.
Okay.
Yeah, senarai MOU dalam beberapa negara. And first you compare first, see whether you fall under any of these categories or not. So it's not necessarily under RMC, because I knew that from your faculty, medical faculty, anything to do with agreement, they send to RMC. Then only after a while, then we found out this is not the right place. Like what happened to Dr. Chiu. What is going on? Because then we found out, because your deputy dean's office always send everything that is pertaining to agreement to RMC. No, it's not necessarily RMC. Not necessarily RMC. Ini PSPK ya, pejabat Chancellery. Even then, research just split into two now. One part can go to TMCG. That's why I'm listening. That's why I have to go back to my office just now. Later at 11 o'clock. Okay.
Prof, I just want to clarify the questions now using the example of water filter. Question number 4 and number 5. How do you answer that on the form?
Okay, let's say number 4, number 5. Okay, number 4, number 5. Let's say you are collaborating, because you know the FRGS, now you need to collaborate with industry. You also notice that NEP water is there. And let's say NEP water is there. And if you put your proposal saying we're doing research in water filter and NEP holdings is there, and when the evaluators search NEP holdings there with a lot of patents, you score already.
If your proposed study does not include any of those, then your proposal will be, say,
No, it comes to number 5. So that means you are a competitor to NEP. Then you have to be very, very clear about the technology available at NEP. Maybe NEP uses 2 chemicals. You don't use any chemical at all. And yours is supposed to be safer. Then that will be a key selling point. So number 4 and number 5, depending on how you twist. So that's why the competitor collaborator is very stakeholder and collaborator and competitors are very, very important. How you position yourself.
But the explanatory note on the number 4, is it something like potential to be commercialized? How does it relate?
Okay, it's something like this. You work with NEP. NEP has already has 20 patents in that area that has been commercialized. Yours is going to be number 21.
Meaning to say they are.
Yeah, you are collaborating with a group of people that are already very strong in that area, and yours is going to be commercialized in the future. Of course, they believe you because number 1, you're working with NEP, which holds the largest patent in that area in Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand. Number 2, you're working on technology that is actually, well, this is actually where number 1, number 2 will support you. Let's say it's expanding, so your chances of being successful will be there. Or on the contrary, if you are not working with NEP, you have solutions to the current technology because they could be working with 2 chemicals. And these 2 chemicals involve a lot of costs and involve importation. That means supply may not be constant. But what you're doing is, instead of using that kind of chemical, you're using locally derived biomaterials from, let's say, the oil palm industry, made into biochar, which has guaranteed supply, added value to the industry. And then you counter saying that even NEP has the largest patent, but we are using natural materials from our agriculture sector, which will also perform as well or even better at a cheaper price. It depends on how you reposition your argument here. That's why your executive summary is very important.
So the stakeholders here, someone who may have an interest.
Yes, direct
in your
interest.
product.
Yes.
And then that could also translate into commercialization of the product.
Yes.
Okay.
So now you see, either way, it can actually help you.
Neighboring countries are.
That's why we only put in Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, because it indicates the regional market market size. Initially, they wanted to put US and Europe, but then when they realized the KPT doesn't want to be caught there, because if they encourage you to search EU and Europe, EU and US, that means if you file patent, you have to go for their patent. The US patent, European patent, the attorney fees are just it's maybe a few times your FRGS grant. So that's why they just go for the regional countries.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Go. Any clear or not?
Just to clarify, the stakeholders too can be the manufacturers lah.
It can be manufacturer, it could be your customer, it could be your academic collaborator, it could be anybody. Itulah bila tengok dia punya search kat sini kan. Dia ada yang universiti. Sorry, ada kat atas ni, ada yang universiti. Ada yang universiti. Ada yang ni tengok, ada individual, ada yang universiti dan sebagainya.
Okay. But if still anything that crop up that you don't understand,
Okay.
we'll call you up. So we come to an end.